Uh, it's very urgent for us to need a green infrastructure, because in China, we are suffering so much from flood, from drought, from pollution, from soil problem, and from the loss of habitat. Now, all these are multiple problems. They cannot be solved by the conventional They cannot. All these multiple problems, they are symbiotic. They are related. They are interconnected, and these interconnected issues cannot be solved by single-minded great infrastructure. Pipelines, dams, dikes. Those great infrastructure made of concrete, made of steel, they can only solve one problem, one project, one solution, one problem. Like pipelines, you want to drain away the flood, but at the same time, you lose water, you lose resources of water, and you actually damaging the habitat, and eventually destroys the whole system. So the green infrastructure means that we want to build nature-based ecosystem, nature-based solution to solve the problem at once, together, holistically. Because all these natural related problems, all these environmental issues are interconnected. Habitat, water, flood, and drought, and human recreation use of space, they're all connected. So we have to find a solution which can rebuild this kind of connection and solve all the problems holistically. Now that's a green infrastructure. My inspiration to find a solution through green infrastructure basically have two resources, two inspirations. One is from my root as a farmer, as a peasant. I grew up in a rural village in China, and the farmers' practice tell me that we have to deal with nature organically. We have to deal with nature holistically or symbiotically. Now that's a very experience-based. My another inspiration comes from my education. Like in Mac, my professors at Harvard, my reading about the new modern understanding about the stormwater management, about the environmental issues. So I have very low background, very deep background as a farmer, how I know how to deal with water, deal with soil, deal with productivity, deal with animal and species. But I have this theoretical understanding about what actually, after the industrial civilization, we now come up with a new idea about ecological solution. I have to pursue in order to solve this problem through green infrastructure. I have to persuade basically the decision maker in China. Now that's different from the Western world. In China, the decision maker are powerful. The mayors, the prime minister, or even the president of the country. So I try to persuade mayors by publication, by lecturing, and I also persuade my president, the national president, to say that we can have a better solution to the problems we are facing today. And my persuasion has been proved to be successful because the Chinese leadership, they want to pick up the new ideas, innovative ideas. And I also pursue the public by showing the examples, by showing how these actually work. That's I think is a major two paths to convince the public, but more important, there's two ways. I mean, there's two directions for persuasion. One is to persuade our decision makers, to convince our decision makers that we have a better, cheaper, and more sustainable solutions. But at the same time, we have to persuade the public to tell them we have a more beautiful, more sustainable solution to solve the problem they are facing today. This solution must be bold. We cannot solve this problem by a little bit here and there. We have to think systematically, because the problems are systematic. And we have to think across a scale, because the problems are a huge scale. We are facing global change, flood, drought, pollutions, It's a global scale. It's not just one village, one city, or one community. We have to think as a city, the globe, the region as a whole. So I think this a green infrastructure. I think it's a green infrastructure solution or nature-based solution is a transformation of our mentality. It's a new idea. It's a revolutionary idea. How can we living with nature instead of industrial solution like pipes, dikes, like this mechanical solution, chemical solution? We have to go back to our peasantry, to our farmers' living style, to find inspiration and upgrade it to this new civilization, new thinking. This is called the ecological civilization. It's upgraded from industrial civilization. Well, this kind of revolution so how this revolution being regarded by other professions, for example, hydrological engineers, civil engineers, and urban planners. So I don't think they understand quite much yet, but gradually they will be educated. So far, based on my understanding, for example, the Sponge City movement in China become a national movement, which integrates civil engineers, hydrological engineer, landscape architect, and urban planners. And more importantly, this kind of integration, it should be performed, should be practiced at even upper level, which means a decision-making level, which means this governance level, which means the education of the whole public about ecological solution, about the taste, about the beauty even. We've been educated based on industrial civilization about what is beautiful, what is ugly. But now we say we have a new aesthetics, with new values, which we have to treat, for example, water differently. For example, before we appreciate the ornamental flowers, before we appreciate ornamental dogs, ornamental fish, now we say that they are not healthy. We need a better solution, which means we need to appreciate native grass, messy grass, messy vegetation. We need to appreciate the native species instead of all those ornamental dogs, fishes, animals, pets. We have to go back to nature, to let nature to do the work. Well, the public is made of individuals, and the decision makers are also made of individuals. So I think the individuals, they can transform their own living. At the same time, they transform the whole landscape. For example, your home is not green enough. Your backyard is not green enough. So if you can collect your stormwater at your backyard, if every individual can do this, we basically solve the problem.
Thank you.